Hello everyone, I'm the Solo Gamer, and today I am going to be interviewing the lead designer for Seed of Andromeda, Anthony.
Hi.
Hello, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Awesome, so it's been a while since we talked.
Yep.
So I guess the first question that I want to ask you is, what is Seed of Andromeda?
When you look at it, it's a voxel game, and of course, a lot of people go, "Oh, great, another voxel game." We are doing quite a few things differently. We are a science fiction based voxel game, and we're trying to do all those things with Seed of Andromeda that a lot of people have always wanted out of voxel games, and some things that we could probably talk about later on. But at the core, we are just a voxel game. I don't really know if I want to say it quite like just a voxel game because there's some stuff I definitely want to talk about that we're doing that no one else is doing. But
Right, no, yeah. It's definitely amazing. I mean, when I did this, I think I did a short little video a while back on this, and I fell in love with it. And the goals that you had in mind. So it's definitely different from a regular voxel game, as you said.
right, yeah, definitely, it is very much.
So how does this differ from similar voxel games?
The big selling point that we have is the fact that we have managed to literally build an entire planet, and probably an entire solar system eventually. And basically, our lead programmer, lead developer, Benjamin Arnold, has managed to map cubes to a sphere and develop a planetary generation system. Besides that, we have 8 times the pure cubic meter voxel density of game like Minecraft, for example. Their blocks are 1 meter by 1 meter. We have 8 voxel cubes in the same area, so we have a much sort of, I guess you could say, finer voxel density. We have voxel-based fluid dynamics, and we have voxel-based lighting, dynamic lighting. We have a parkour movement system that we're working on, and a bunch of other different things that other voxel games really haven't ever tried that we're aware of. I do know for a fact, though, that we are the only game being developed and that's ever been developed that has actually taken the voxel sort of setting to the scale of an entire planet, and possibly an entire planetary system.
Yeah, that's one of the big things that I liked about the game is that you actually created a planet out of voxels, and that's just fantastic. It really is. And it's huge, too.
Yeah, a 1-to-1 scale, actually.
That's crazy. Speaking of the planet, how does the player get to this planet, and is there a backstory on that?
Well, the backstory is that you are part of a colony fleet, and it's, we'll say, 1,000, 1,500 years in the future, and you're part of a colony fleet heading to a planet. We're calling the planet Aldrin after a particular person that people should know, and if they don't know, then shame on them. But the name of the planet, as far as the human race is considered, is Aldrin, and it's actually part of a planetary group called the Three Sisters, which is 3 Earth-like planets orbiting a gas giant in this solar system. And when the player arrives, this planet and its system is uninhabited. Sort of spiel that they were given turns out to be false. We thought that there was nobody here but us. We show up and, oh my god, aliens. And there is a fleet battle, and basically the player will escape the Seed of Andromeda, which is the name of the ship that you're on. So, and then that's why we have the game called Seed of Andromeda. The giant colony ship that's bringing everybody is called the Seed of Andromeda, and you will escape the ship as it's being shot to bits, and you'll actually see it destroyed as you're in an escape capsule falling toward planet Aldrin. And that's the backstory, and then whatever happens after the crash landing is kind of up to the player.
Awesome. So then at that point, it's just a traditional survival game.
Traditional in so much as we do have a progression system and a technological system, and you'll be starting off at sort of Stone Age type stuff because you've only got your basic survival gear on you, and hopefully eventually transitioning to higher levels of technology. But then we do plan on doing things with NPCs, like letting you actually befriend NPCs and make entire cities if you felt like it.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's a lot of work, especially in artificial intelligence area. We have a lot of plans for dynamic content generation through the NPCs and actually having them do things based on how they feel about you and about each other and what their jobs are and things like that. There will be pockets of survivors around the planet, and 2 alien factions. One alien faction that's like, yay, we're not alone in the universe, let's go meet them. And the other alien faction that's like, oh my god, we're not alone in the universe, let's go kill them. And however you interact diplomatically with those factions. Stuff will be up to you as well, and we intend to have a robust NPC interaction system. It's a little bit of a pipe dream, but we're hoping to get there in a couple years.
That sounds amazing. I'm already looking forward to that. So, how big of a role will crafting play in, in building and, the player survival?
Massive role. Very massive role. To give you an example, when you crash land on the planet, you get out of the capsule, you have a backpack, a gun with like a couple magazines, and yes, everybody's like, well, it's 1500 years in the future, why would we be using guns? Well, first of all, I say gun loosely. It's sort of a kinetic energy discharge weapon, basically. That means railgun for those of you that don't know what that means. Hyper miniaturized, but it still needs ammunition of some variety. It's got to throw some sort of metal at a target. You'll have that. You'll have a combat/survival knife, a little bio monitor, and a little PDA thing, which is kind of like, I guess I'd liken it to a Pokédex. What is that? It's Pikachu. But then so that you can scan things, and then you're going to be using all of those little starter things to, okay, well, I've got my knife, so I'm going to go and grab some sticks and look for something and to make a torch and cut some, do whatever. Use my basic sort of survival tools that I have with to make a shelter. And then one of the big things that I was really big on when designing the game is what we call 3D world space objects. So you're going to be forced to actually build physical things within the world that will take up space and then provide new gameplay features to you. For example, when you want to work with metal, you're going to actually have to block by block build a forge. And then, of course, once you've, quote, built it, it becomes an object in the world space, and you can interact with the UI, and there's little mini games for working with metal and things like that. So crafting and progressing through, there's 5 tiers right now. Crafting and progressing through the 5 tiers of technology, the 5 sort of, quote, eras, so to speak, is really big. But I also want each era to be as independently viable as the next. So if you decide you want to hermit it up and just sort of stay at the tier 1 tech level and just sort of explore and stay at tier 2 or what have you, if you want to stay at a certain level of technology and just sort of explore the planet or be happy with what you've got, that'll be hopefully as viable a gameplay option for you as somebody that wants to go to, quote, end-game technology. But then in-game technology and crafting to that point will be the only way we think at the moment that you're going to be able to get off planet and go somewhere else.
Right. So, you talked about technology and progression. So is there any more that you could talk about, progression on maybe your character, kind of like an RPG system maybe?
There's some stuff that we're talking about and discussing. How far do we want to take this in the direction of RPG? Nothing I can really kind of talk about at the moment because a lot of it is just like, gee, that sounds cool, and no, that doesn't sound cool at all. Which is, if people are wondering, that's how the development process works. We just kind of ask each other, does that sound cool? And we're like, yeah, no, not really.
It's so simple.
Yeah, I wish it was that simple. It's not. But there's some talk and discussion amongst the team about RPG style things that we could do, character progression and skills and the like. And we have a community already of a couple thousand gamers that are giving us a lot of feedback on things that they'd like to see. And if we decide, okay, yeah, that sounds cool, and we're gonna do it, and we have the time and the money and the development staff to devote to taking things a little bit more down the RPG line, we'll see if we can go there. I would really like to see us go there and have some sort of personal character progression as well as the crafting and technological progression, but it's not set in stone at the moment.
All right, awesome. So, you've already talked about your long-term goals for the game, but is there like an end game?
Well, is there an end game in voxel games?
Well, maybe. It depends on what you think of end game, I suppose.
I think of end game as limitless opportunity, is what I think of. And the ability to utilize those opportunities, or not utilize, but take advantage of the limitless opportunity. So I guess you could say endgame is, and our goal is to eventually have a 1-to-1 scale solar system of voxel planets that you can explore and interact with. And I would say that the endgame is being able to explore that solar system as you please and as you see fit, for as long as you desire, and to do whatever you want to with that solar system within reasonable limitations. Some people could see Endgame as trying to build some sort of NPC nation, which is a goal. We want you to be able, as I said earlier, to interact with the NPCs and, make friends or enemies, and then have, you're a blacksmith, so you're gonna man the forge for me, and then all of a sudden you have a town and maybe a city. But as far as what we would really consider in game, I don't really think there is one outside of I've reached tech level 5 and now I can just go wherever I want and do whatever I want as I please. I guess would pretty much be our quote end game and end goal for the players. But it's up to them if they want to go that far.
Awesome. So are there any plans for community modding?
Oh yeah, the game's already moddable.
Really? So what parts are moddable?
I can't go into a lot of details right now, but we're working on a lot of hooks and tie-ins and API and documentation and stuff like that, and we're debating here in a little bit putting up a place on the forums where modders can actually ask for hooks. If they want to be able to mod a particular area of the game and they can't because we don't have a hook for it, they can ask us for it, and we'll think about putting that in. But the base thing right now is the planet editor, which we're working on, which lets you develop your own planets. One of our community members is also a Kerbal Space Program fan and made the entirety of the Kerbal Space Program solar system.
Oh, really?
And our planet editor. Yep.
Oh,
sure
that's
did.
awesome.
Yeah, it was great. He added like an extra vowel, like Duna was Duuna, just because we don't want those guys to get irritated with us. But
Right.
we didn't do it. It was one of our community members, but we still thought it was great though.
Yeah.
But yeah, we have a lot of plans to let the community mod, because as the lead designer and Benjamin as the lead programmer, he and I both agree that in the industry as it stands right now, modability is sustainability. So, if you have a game that can be modded, you take a look at Skyrim, it's, several years old and people are still making mods and content for it, which is keeping the game alive way past its, shelf life of you've put 60 hours into the game and you're done. And not with Skyrim and games like that, Kerbal Space Program, for example, being infinitely moddable. And we want to go that same direction where, the answer is yes to can I mod it? However long it takes us to get there. I know that's kind of a cryptic sort of long roundabout answer, but yes, the answer is the game is moddable, and what is going to be moddable could be different tomorrow from today if someone comes to us and says, I'd like to be able to do this, and we go, we never thought about that, here you go.
So you talked about Ben, he's the lead designer.
Lead developer.
Oh, sorry, lead developer. So how many other people are working on this game currently?
Well, you have, as I said, Benjamin Arnold is the lead developer. I'm the lead designer. You have Sebastian is my assistant designer. Joshua Arnold, Ben's brother, is our sound artist, sound designer, and he's actually doing the music and sound effects for the game. Matthew Marshall is doing web development, and he's also an assistant designer. We got Jorg, who's a graphics artist. Andreas is a 3D artist. Let's see here. Jesse's a web developer. We have a community manager, programmer, a couple of other, quote, interns. None of us are really actually considered full-time because we're not a company yet, and, we're not making any money off the game because... Just a small side note, currently you can download the game for free and test out the tech demo.
That will be in the description below if you wanted to get that easy.
There's probably closer to 20 people putting their 2 cents into the game right now, but the main team is probably about 10 to 12 people. And then we're bringing on new people as we like, that guy's really good at network programming, so let's bring him on. I know we bring on a couple new programmers recently. We have 5 now outside of Benjamin and 2 interns, and then the rest of the design and support team.
Yeah, I have to say, you guys are growing pretty rapidly. It's awesome. From when you first came to me with this game, it's really shaping up. It's really good. It's really good.
When I first came to you, it was me and Ben. So
yeah, that's what I mean. It's grown so much since then.
And we're very, very happy to have everybody that we've got helping us to design and do a lot. And people are probably wondering why we have so many programmers over designers and artists and sound designers and things like that. And to develop a game of this magnitude, we need the programming staff more than anything else. So it's definitely great to see somebody who's a young guy, in his early 20s or late teens, and is very talented and has a lot of sort of understanding of programming. And Benjamin sort of goes, yep, I'm going to take you and make your dream come true, and snatches him and says, you're going to be a programmer on a game and make your dream come true. And that's the big thing for a lot of the guys that we're bringing on board. They're like, oh my god, I'm actually working on a game. And we're like, yeah, you are, welcome to the team. So it's really, really good to watch that.
Yeah, that's awesome. Give them opportunities.
Yeah.
So is there any plans for Steam support in the future?
Oh, we'd love to be on Steam. but the future, we'll have to wait to see. Yes, I want us on Steam. I know Benjamin wants us on Steam. When and if that happens, we'll wait and see. Our plans are yes. We'll just have to wait and see what happens.
Right.
So if we can get on Steam, great. If we don't, then and we're gonna offer the game from both platforms at first. From our website and from IndieDB, and then from Steam. Hopefully, the goal is to be there. But if we end up on any other distribution platforms as well, you'll always be able to get the most recent and up-to-date copy of Seed of Andromeda from the main website, which, I'm sure you'll tell the people is seedofandromeda.com.
Yep, like I said, that'll be in the description below. So this is for Mac and PC?
Yeah, it's for Windows PC, and I believe we're still working out kinks with Mac.
Okay.
And working out kinks with Linux. Right now, though, the percentage of people from the Mac Linux crowd versus the percentage of people from Windows, we have to prioritize where 95% of our player base is.
Right.
So right now, we're really focused on Windows and working out issues with Mac and Linux, but we do plan on supporting all three. It's just for the time being, if you're on Mac and Linux, be prepared to have a lot more bugs and issues because those two operating systems are notoriously difficult. Well, not so much Linux, Mac is.
No, yeah, the Mac is not a game system.
No, it isn't. It's for artists.
Exactly.
I've probably just alienated like 1,000 future games more, but whatever. I'm a PC guy, so PC Master Race. I'm kidding. So long and short of it, yes, we want to go on Steam, and yes, we want to support as many platforms as possible.
Awesome. All right, so is there any final words that you want to say about Seed of Andromeda?
I don't know if I'm going to get in trouble for this or not, but we have sort of set the general area of Kickstarter as far as the time frame. It's going to be next year. So those that are wondering, as I said, Seed of Andromeda is free. You can go and get it, but it's a tech demo. It's very much a tech demo at the moment, sort of pre-alpha, if that really makes us, any sense. But we are planning on spending the rest of this year and a few months developing the game and bringing new programmers on board and teaching them and bringing new team members on board and getting them doing things. And then we're going to go on Kickstarter, and when we go live on Kickstarter, hopefully the end of the first quarter of next year, we'll probably start charging for the game then. So that's kind of, we want to let people know to stay tuned to Kickstarter because, all of us have other jobs outside of what we're doing right now, and we just don't have the finances that we need to devote ourselves to 100% Seed of Andromeda 100% of the time. But that doesn't mean that we aren't, putting as much of ourselves into it as we can. So stay tuned for our Kickstarter first, end of the first quarter, beginning of the second quarter of 2015. And if you guys like what we're trying to do, developing this super large scale voxel game, then head us up and help us out, help us make it reality.
Awesome. Well, I'll definitely update you guys if this or when this goes on to Kickstarter so that you guys can back it there. But yeah, I want to thank you, Anthony, for joining me here.
You're welcome.
And I'm really, really looking forward to see how Seed of Andromeda progresses. And so I hope you all enjoyed. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more.